here we are at day 2 of the American Petroleum Institute Pipeline Conference. It was a long night last night,
So
guys.
what did you do last night? What did you do last night?
I didn't do a lot. I just had a really great dinner, and I stayed out till 10 o'clock, but I'm too old for this nonsense.
Yeah, I heard Broadway was in your future. I don't know. Honky tonk
I
and
walked
singing.
down Broadway and I only stopped for a second.
Yeah, sure. They all say the second turns into an hour turns into a night. Next morning, you're like, what am I doing?
Exactly.
Where am I?
So, what are you learning this year at the Pipeline Conference? What's new or different, or what are you guys from PRCI working on here at the conference?
Well, it's kind of a combination of questions. I like what you said there. What are we seeing and what are we doing? What you're seeing is a deeper push for collaboration across the various groups. Everybody's really focusing on that. We can't make these transitions, these shifts in our energy industry without collaboration. No one can do it on their own. And initially, we all wanted to try on our own, very human behavior. We're going to do it by ourselves. But we realized if we're going to meet the external push on us to make this evolutionary change, we're going to have to do it together. And we've seen that conversation go on quite a bit this week already. This morning's keynote regarding diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility was really phenomenal of really how do we bring in everybody? And it's not just you and I, the old white guys, talking about things. It's how do we bring in a lot of different brains and different ideas that really help us be different.
Yeah, well, and all the stakeholders, and that's that's a very wide net when you talk about pipeline, is because it's the communities, it's the first responders. There's actually down here, we're on nonprofit roll. Just so that you know, I need sponsors so we can get off a nonprofit.
Apparently, he's not nonprofit. He's like for a lot more money. So sponsor him today.
Yeah,
give
exactly.
him more money.
Thank you for the push. But we've got firefighters here. We've got the National Emergency Notification Association here. So a lot of when you talk about collaboration, it's just not amongst the pipeline community. It's broader than that.
No, it's a very broad. I mean, the next booth down is YPP, the Young Pipeline Professionals, and then the final one is a training bar for our industry. So when we look at what we do, it is a very expansive group that we're touching, and our industry is very broad.
Yeah.
And when you think about pipelines, and you've heard me say this before on your podcast, it's the backbone of our economy. Without what we do, we don't have our economy. Mm-hmm. And we are in every community. We hit everybody globally.
Even if they don't realize it.
And most of the time we don't.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's be honest, you and I, before we got in this industry, didn't care. As long as our lights came on and our cars went someplace, we didn't care where the oil and gas came from.
Yeah, pretty much true.
And then as soon as it showed up, we're like, that's important. And now we know. Yeah. And it's that information. And that's the other thing that I've seen this week too, is the excitement of sharing with each other, but acknowledging we got to share with the others.
Yeah.
And those people who are against us, we need to talk to them. Those who are on the fence, we got to talk to them. The more we bring them in, the more we're going to advance. And that's really the story.
So I want to plug an event that's going to be at the Technology Development Center for PRCI on May 16th,
yes,
right?
Sir.
It's an API, PRCI collaborative event. They're going to be bringing a bunch of vendors, be doing a bunch of demonstrations. I'm going to be there. We're going to do some podcasting.
Oh, excellent. That's good to hear.
API is looking to set up a panel on technology commercialization and putting some great people together for that. So I'm really looking forward to that event. You should come.
If you have opportunities, I'd encourage you to come on by. It's going to be May 16th at the Technology Development Center in Houston, Texas. It'll be starting at 9 a.m., goes to 1. We're going to have some live demonstrations as well as some technology shares. But then we also have an opportunity to discuss where our future needs to go. And we're excited to have Mike Summers come down, the president of API. Tristan Brown will be there from PHMSA to really show that interaction between government and industry and how we best leverage our future and how we drive to success.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thanks for coming by the podcast, and thank you very much.
Hey, Russell, appreciate you, man. Thank you, sir.